What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! News video, this is going to be interesting because I'm going to be talking about some new cards coming out of the next OCG set, Dawn of Majesty, including 2 new archetypes, one of them which is based off of food. Yeah. Based off of food, and this first one that I'm going to talk about, which is the full set list for Ancient Guardians, and I've actually talked about a lot of these, so without any further ado, let's get into it. So let's see. Oh, okay. So for the ultra rares, it's releasing the ultra rares, super rares, and the commons, because apparently in this one there are no rare. Oh, that's right, there are no rares, but in the OCG, but TCG there will be rares. So for the ultra rares, we have Agodo Abyss, I completely butchered that name, Deity of the Abyss, excuse me, Dodorumacord, Kulia, Ursartic Septentrion. Yeah, those are the ultras. I know I'm butchering the names, so forgive me on that. We have Null, Dreg of the Abyss, Nihil, Dreg of the Abyss, Curse, Dawn of the Abyss, Aaron, King of the Abyss, Snake, Lily of the Abyss, Dorumacord, Cutia, Dorumacord, Gracia, Doremacord, Elegance, Ursartic, Mike, Pola, Ursartic, Polari, Ursartic, Grand Chariot, Ursartic, Departure. Yeah, I know I butchered those names, so forgive me on that, but that's just how I see it. Those ones are the super rares. For the commons, we have Floji, Haze of the Abyss, Zoa, Haze of the Abyss, Alith, Dusk of the Abyss, Amnesia, Queen of the Abyss, Depths of the Abyss, Emptiness of the Abyss, Invasion of the Abyss, Re-Dorumacord, Dreama, Mid-Dorumacord, Alita, Fad-Dorumacord, Fancia, Lad-Dorumacord, Angelia, Side-Dorumacord, Butia, Dorumacord, Scale, Dorumacord, Harmonia, Dorumacord, Musica, Dorumacord, Formal, Ursartic, Mectanus, Ursartic, Mcbillis, Ursartic, Megapola, Ursartic, Megatenus, Ursartic, Megabillis, Ursartic, Slider, Ursartic, Big Dipper, Ursartic, Quint, Charge, Crystal Girl, King of the Feral Imps, Snake Rain, Ayers Rock Sunrays, Wavering Eyes, and Offering to the Snake Deity. So that's the full set list. Honestly, again, I said it before, I really don't think any of these archetypes are going to be broken, are going to be meta. Probably the Dorumacord archetype, probably. Maybe the Ursartics, I have no idea. Yeah, honestly, I have no idea what I believe will be meta, but if I had to guess, I would have to say the Dorumacord, probably because it's another one of those like waifu decks. So yeah. Next up, also there is one other thing that I do want to bring up, and I'll probably add this into the name in the title name. But if you guys but I don't think I don't think I mentioned about this card. We have another V-Jump card, another V-Jump promo, which is called Now Ruse, Elise of the Dragon of Beauty and Faith. That is the name of the card. It's a wind attribute 7-star dragon with 2,000 attack and 2,500 defense. Both of its effects are once per turn. If this card is in your grave, you can send a level 5 or higher monster from your hand to the grave. Special summon this card, but banish him when it leaves the field. So funny enough, if you're running rank 7 exceeds, it's exactly like like Galactic Spiral Dragon, where you're able to bypass it and overlay this card into a rank 7, and then when you detach it, you can use the effect over and over and over again. It's just that broken. Second effect says, if this card is destroyed by battle or destroyed by opponent's card effect while in its owner's possession, you can target a card on your opponent's. You can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. So it's kind of like a bottomless trap hole, cosmic cyclone, so to speak. So not too shabby. I would probably put this in like a Dragon Link deck, possibly, because I know the Dragon Links have been pretty. They've been pretty busted for a while now. So yeah, pretty good card. Anyway, guys, now the new cards from Dawn of Majesty, including an archetype called Magikeys, and an archetype based off of food. Yeah, you heard me right. Based off of food. So let's talk about the Magikeys archetype. It's kind of interesting. Ever since we got Rise of the Duels last year, we've had so many. We've gotten so many brand new archetypes, Drytrons and whatnot. So it's been pretty interesting. So we do have a few cards to talk about with the new Magikeys archetype. First up is a normal monster, and it is called Magikeys Sky Blaster Clavis. It is a level 4 Dark Warrior normal, 1900 attack and defense, and its flavor text says, every person is brimming with potential to go or to stop, to close or to open, depends on yourself. There are many doors in this dazzling world. What opens them is a magical key. 2 keys and 1 door, 2 wills and 1 form. If the door is open, the world shall be connected, and an enormous power shall reveal itself. That's an interesting flavor text. That's an interesting flavor text. But we do have we got a couple of ritual monsters here. First one here is Magikey Blaster Bato Buster. It's a level 4 Dark Machine Ritual Tuner. Ritual Tuner. You ever heard that before? No? There you go. I think this might be the only ritual tuner in existence. That is insane. Insane. 2,000 attack, 2,200 defense. You can ritual summon this card with Magikey Mafti. Mafti? Yeah, I believe that's the name. You can only use the first effect once per turn. If this card is ritual summon, you can add a Magikey card from your deck to your hand. It's a fucking Stratos. It's literally a Stratos. Mind blown. Mind blown, people. Mind blown. Second effect says, once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikey monster in your grave, you can place any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, negate the opponent's monster effects until the end of the turn. Then draw cards equal to the number of cards you placed. Okay, so that's kind of interesting because this card can easily be ashed because you're drawing cards. Not only are you drawing cards, but you're also sending cards back into the deck, so it can be ashed or it could be ghost belled. Yeah, it can also be ghost belled as well, which is kind of unfortunate. But of course, Call by the Grave always does the job. Next up, we have Magikey Cannon Garisvet. It kind of looks like a crocodile for a second. It's an 8-star Earth Machine Ritual. 2,000 attack, 2,800 defense. Again, the same thing. You can ritual summon this card with Magic and Magikeys. You can only use the second and third effects once per turn. First effect says gains 300 attack for each monster attribute in your grave. So that's 6 attributes. You have wind, earth, water, fire, dark, and light. But you also have divine, but that I guess that really doesn't count as an attribute. I guess it technically counts as a light. So yeah. So 6 attributes. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. That would be 1,800 attack. That's incredible. When your opponent activates the effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your grave, and you control this card ritual summoned using monsters with 2 or more attributes, as a quick effect, you can negate the activation and if you do, destroy. Okay, so you do have to have like a cost. The cost is that you have to have a monster in your grave with the same attribute as the monster as the monster effect that your opponent's activating. So if you have a dark, you can negate it and destroy it. So it's kind of like a solemn judgment, which is not too shabby actually. If this ritual summon card is sent to the grave, you can add a Magic monster from your deck to your hand. So it's another form. Again, it's basically another form of Rhoda. Next up, we actually have a fusion. A fusion tuner, which is pretty insane. Magic summon beast and Ancillabolas. I completely butchered that name. It's a 4-star Dark Beast Fusion Tuner, 2,200 attack, 2,000 defense, and it requires a Magic monster and a non-token normal monster, so you cannot use tokens to summon it. You can only use the first effect of this card's name per turn. If this card is fusion summon, you can add a Magic Magikeys from your grave to your hand. So so it's kind of like a magical stone. It's kind of like a spell reproduction, but you're not pitching 2 spells for cost. So that's pretty good. Once per turn, you can target an opponent's attack position monster with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magic monster in your grave. Change it to defense position, and if you do, it loses 1,000 defense. So it's kind of like a block attack, where you're able to switch your opponent's monster from attack to defense. So that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. And then its third effect says banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. Holy shit! So it's basically it's like a macrocosmos. That's absolutely insane. The other fusion we have is Magikeys Summon Dragon Andrabimus. I have to say that thing looks like something out of that one game. What was it called? Monster Hunter, I think it was. Guys, take a look at this. It kind of looks like something from it kind of looks like something off of what you call it? I can't think of the name. It kind of looks like the dragon from Super Mario Odyssey, which is kind of funny. It's an 8-star Wind Dragon Fusion with 2,800 attack and 2,000 defense, and it requires a Magic effect monster and a non-token normal. When fusion summoned, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. Basically, another form of VFD. Basically. Once per turn, you can target a normal monster or Magic monster in your grave, destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the same attribute. So I would presume I would presume since you're going to be targeting, since you would be targeting Clavis, it'll most likely just be all darks, which is pretty busted. Once per turn, if an opponent's monster or monsters with the same attribute as a monster in your grave is destroyed by battle or card effect, and you control this card fusion summon using monsters with 2 or more attributes as material, you can draw a card. It's a +1 basically, so I don't even have to say anything about that. Next up, we actually have Magic Magikeys. Okay. So this is basically the polymerization ritual, so to speak. Fusion summon a Magic fusion monster from your extra using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, or ritual summon a Magikey ritual from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the levels of the ritual monster. If you control a normal monster, you can also send a normal monster from your deck to the grave as fusion material or as ritual material. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I would have made this card a quick play spell, kind of similar to Secrets of Dark Magic that we saw in Legendary Duelist Magical Hero, where you can either fusion or ritual basically. So, but that's just my opinion anyway. Next up, we have Magikey Unsealing, which is the field spell for them. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. You can only use the third effect once per turn. When this card resolves, you can add a Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. Another form of Rhoda. Basically, it's like it's basically another form of like Stratos or Rhoda, which is kind of the same thing. The first time each normal monster you control would be shown by battle or card effects each turn, except tokens, it is not destroyed. So it's basically its own like. It's basically its own negate, so to speak. During your main phase, you can add a Magikey Mafti from your deck to your hand, then place a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. So it's kind of like a one. It's kind of like a 1-for-1, but for spells, which is pretty cool. Now for the trap cards, we have Connected Magikey, which is a normal trap. Target a normal monster or Magikey monster in your grave, add it to your hand, then you can apply one of these effects. You can either fusion summon or ritual summon, basically. Which again, that's pretty cool. It's basically another like it's like another poly like ritual, so that's pretty cool. And then last but not least, we have Magikey Lock Unlock. This is actually the counter trap. So when your opponent activates a spell or trap while you control a Magikey ritual monster or Magikey monster special summon from the extra deck, which would be a fusion, negate that activation and destroy it. Then you get to declare an attribute, and if you do, all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls would become the declared attribute until the end of the turn. So it's basically a Solemn Judgment DNA transplant, where you're able to negate a card effect, destroy it, and then change the attribute of your opponent's monsters. Honestly, I like it. I like the archetype. I think honestly it's pretty cool, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about it. All right, you guys. I'm gonna. So, oh wow, there's a lot of cards here. Okay, so I'm gonna really quickly talk about this new archetype, which is not only based off of food, but it's also based off of the Gizmeks. Yes, we finally got Gizmek. Finally, Gizmek's become an archetype. So first up, we have Gizmek Inaba, which is a wind machine. Love 1 star, 50 attack and defense. What the fuck is this shit? What the? Wow, so they're bringing back the 50s. That's funny. That is hilarious. You can only use the second effect once per turn. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon a machine monster from your hand whose attack equals its own defense and defense position. Wow. Summon a machine. It's kind of like a machine dupe, so to speak. You can banish this card from your grave, then target a machine monster you control whose attack equals its own defense. For the rest of the turn, you cannot declare attacks except with that monster. Also, its attack and defense becomes the total original attack of all machine monsters you currently control, whose attack equals their own defense. I'm not even gonna say anything about these effects. All I'm gonna say is just that it's absolutely absurd. Next up, we have Gizmek Naganaki, which is a light machine, 2 star, 950 attack and defense. Both effects already once per turn. You can contribute a machine monster whose attack equals its own defense. Special summon a machine monster from your deck whose attack equals its own defense, but with a lower level than the attributed monster. And second effect, you contribute this card from your grave. Add one of your face-down banished machines whose attack equals its own defense to your hand. So it's kind of like a Rhoda, basically. So that's kind of cool. Now for the 3 star, Gizmek Taniguku. Taniguku? Yeah. It looks like a frog. Earth Earth Machine, 3-star, 1450 attack and defense. Both of its effects are once per turn. If this card is normal summon, you can place a machine monster from your deck whose attack equals its own defense on the top of the deck. So it's like a... It's kind of like a pot of duality. It's like a dark magical circle, so to speak. So that's kind of cool. You can banish this card from your grave, then target a machine in your grave whose attack equals its own defense, and special summon it in defense. So it's like a monster reborn, basically. So that's pretty cool. Gizmek Ibuki, Water Machine, 4-star, 1850 attack and defense. If you control a machine whose attack equals its own defense, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can banish the card from your grave, then target a machine monster your opponent controls whose attack equals its own defense. Send a machine whose attack equals its own defense, but with a lower level than that target from your deck to the grave. And if you do, that target gains attack and defense equal to the sent monster's level times 100. So it's kind of again, this archetype, I have to admit, is kind of confusing. It's kind of confusing, but honestly, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a cool archetype. I'm not gonna say much about it because obviously we don't know all the cards to the archetype. I think these might be the only cards, but we will see. Now we have the field spell, Gizmek Legend. What in the fuck? Kamitsu Kawashime no Kiki. What the hell? It's an archetype based off of Japan. Based off of the legends of Japan, which is, I mean, it's awesome, but still, that's quite the name, quite the name. It is the field spell for them. First effect is a once per turn. During your main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 excavating machine monster whose attack equals its own defense to your hand. Also, banish the rest face down. So you're adding a monster. You're adding. So it's okay. I get it. Excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. It's basically a pot of duality, basically, which is pretty good. Each time a machine monster whose attack equals its own defense is normal or special summon, place a counter on this card. Monsters on the field whose attack does not equal its own defense cannot activate their effects while this card has 10 or more counters. Oh shit, that's pretty broken. Now we have another normal monster, which is called Rice Suship. It's a Fire Aqua normal. Fire Aqua? What the fuck? 4-star, 2000 attack, 0 defense, and its flavor text says, in a certain Suship port in which I've been interested in for a while, there's a rice Suship of which only 2,000 vessels per year are produced with a self-developed old rice that is not too sticky, with a profound taste that cannot be enjoyed in any other ports, of which many critics have heavily acclaimed. The interior of the harbor is of high status, making one's heart beat with excitement. As for the sought-after Suship, despite the vinegar, concentration, grasping technique, and modeling worthy of a craftsman, there was still something that wasn't quite right, wasn't quite there. Thus, the store owner speaks, quote, a red vinegar made in Edu front that will add a mellow and rich fragrance will be arriving to the port in the upcoming days. From the hearing that I'm looking forward to this edition. It is unfortunate that the surrounding sea area was somewhat noisy. It is with great expectation of a future visit that I'm grading it with 4 stars. Okay, that's just absolutely absurd. That's absolutely fucking absurd. Now we have again, it's based off of food. I don't even know anymore. Next up we have Ro Suship. It's a Suship archetype. Okay. Fire Aqua, 4-star, 200 attack, 300 defense. You can only special summon the way of this card's name. Name's first effect once per turn. You can only use the second effect once per turn. If you control Rice Suship, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's basically like a Cyber Dragon, so to speak. During your main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. And if you do, you can add to your hand or special summon an excavated Rice Suship. Also shuffle the rest back into this. So it's basically a pot of duality. Now we have the Xyz. Dreadnought, Sous Ship, Rogue Class, First, War Dish. Fire Aqua exceeds rank 4, 2200 attack, 300 defense, 2 level 4 monsters it requires. You can only use this card's name's first effect once per turn. If this card exceeds summon, you can apply these effects based on the monsters used as material. Right Sous Ship, draw a card. Rogue Sous Ship, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. So if you have both, you can actually use both effects. Once per turn, you can when your Sous Ship monster is special. When your Sous Ship monster special summon from the extra deck inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target a card they control and destroy it. Wow. Okay. Now for the field spell. Sous Ship Galley Kaizen. Once per turn, if you normal special summon a Sous Ship monster, even during the damage step, you can place a Sous Ship counter from your deck on top of the deck. And the second effect says once per turn, if your Sous Ship monster is special summoned from the extra deck is sent. If your Sous Ship monster is special summoned from the extra deck is sent to the grave by an opponent's card, your opponent must pay life points equal to its defense. Then you can special summon a right Sous Ship from your hand. And if you do immediately after this effect resolves, Exceed summon a Sous Ship Exceeds monster using only that monster as material. Wow, that's pretty insane. That is insane. Now for the normal trap card, Sous Ship Roll Specials. When you activate this card, you can also reveal a right Sous Ship in your hand. Insane. Reveal 3 Sous Ship monsters from your deck. Your opponent picks one for you to add to your hand. Also shuffle the rest back into the deck. If you revealed a right Sous Ship when you activated this card, you choose instead. That's absurd. If this card is in your grave, except the turn it was sent there, you can match the card, then target 3 Sous Ship monsters in your grave, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 1. So it's kind of like It's kind of like a Moray of Greed, but instead of drawing 2, you're only drawing 1. So not too bad. But again, that archetype is just absolutely fucking absurd. Absolutely absurd. And then last but not least, we have another ritual spell, which is called Redefine. It's called Refine Ritual Art, and it says this card is used to ritual summon any ritual monster. You can only activate 1 card with its name per turn. Ritual summon a ritual monster from your deck by attributing normal monsters in your hand whose total levels equal exactly the level of the monster you ritual summon. Shuffle the special summon monster into the deck during your opponent's end phase. Okay, honestly, I mean it's pretty cool, but it does have its drawbacks. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Question of the day: what are you guys' thoughts on the new Magic Key archetype? Let me know in the comments below. And that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh! News videos, which gets posted every Wednesday, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be down in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.